Hi guys, Aaron Dorr here, Policy Advisor for Wyoming gun owners, WIGO, and with an update for you guys on a hot race taking place right now in Senate District number 3, SD3, north of Cheyenne a little bit here. Getting a lot of questions about where Cheri Steinmetz and Martin Gubbels, I could be pronouncing it wrong and I apologize if I am, where these two candidates stand when it comes to the Second Amendment. We have some good news to report here. First of all, Cheri Steinmetz. Cheri Steinmetz has promised in her candidate survey that she would sponsor pro-gun bills. You know, a lot of candidates will tell us, yeah, I'll vote pro-gun or I'll co-sponsor pro-gun bills. And we appreciate that, to be sure. But only a handful of candidates will promise to lead in the gun rights movement by sponsoring pro-gun bills. That was the response that we got from Cheri Steinmetz. She would sponsor pro-gun bills like gun-free zone repeal. We asked her if she would oppose gun control, like magazine bans, AR-15 bans, red flag gun seizure laws, all of these things. She said she would oppose gun control in every form. And more than that, for the last couple of years, she's been a strong pro-gun vote in the Capitol in Cheyenne. This year, for example, House Bill 168, Stand Your Ground law for Wyoming. It was Cheri Steinmetz who's one of the lead co-sponsors on this bill. And so she's not just, said what she will do. She's been doing this for the last couple of years now in the State House, in the Capitol in Cheyenne. And as well, you should also know that during this entire Stand Your Ground law fight, there were many times where moderates in the caucus would offer up harmful amendments that were designed to weaken the impact on Stand Your Ground law. And Cheri Steinmetz every time stood up for the Second Amendment, literally stood up on the floor to visibly oppose these harmful and weakening amendments to Stand Your Ground law. So Cheri has stood up literally and figuratively for gun owners for the last couple of years, and by signing her 2018 WIGO candidate questionnaire, has pledged to do so again going forward. She's signed the dotted line. Martin Gubbels has also signed his survey, and he had promised to co-sponsor gun bills, which we appreciate, but he left 4 or 5 questions in the survey blank. And we're not sure what to make of that, besides the fact that when a candidate won't answer a questionnaire, it's very concerning to us about what he would do if in office. We asked, one of the questions he ignored or would not answer on was, would you oppose universal firearms registration? This is kind of the Michael Bloomberg push all across the nation to require registration of all firearms via a universal background check, even to include amongst family and friends. So if grandpa wants to hand down a family firearm to his grandson, he'd have to go through a government check first and add grandson's name and that firearm into a government database. We asked him, would you oppose this in Wyoming? Martin would not give us an answer. We asked him, would you oppose legislation that would ban or confiscate modern firearms, AR-15s, and their magazines? We asked him if you would oppose those. He would not give us an answer to that question. We asked him, would you oppose legislation, which is being talked about and being implemented in states across the country right now, that would confiscate and ban you from owning firearms if you're under 21. This is a response to the Parkland, Florida shooting, where the shooter there was under the age of 21. And now lawmakers think that all of a sudden, if you're 20 years old, that you can't have any firearms. So you could literally have served in the military for a number of years, come back home, start your family, maybe get married, start a career, buy a house, paying taxes, all of these things, and you go to buy a firearm and they say, no, you're too young, we don't trust you yet, after you've already pulled a 2-year tour, for example, in the military. So we asked Martin, would you oppose any attempt to enact that in Cheyenne? Martin Gubbels would not tell us anything about that, which is a very big concern to gun owners. We asked him, would you oppose any legislation that would enact a waiting period on firearms transactions in Wyoming? This is always being talked about by anti-gunners, sometimes by moderate Republicans at times, as some kind of a common sense reform, something that we can do to be responsive to the needs of the gun control movement. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be responsive to them at all. I don't want to give gun grabbers an inch in any capacity, especially when it comes to waiting periods. Everybody knows that waiting periods only serve to benefit criminals, because victims and would-be victims are waiting for the right to buy a firearm when oftentimes they can be attacked not having the means of self-defense. There are so many cases across the country of women, for example, who knew they were being stalked, knew they were being harassed by some crazy person, and wanted to buy a firearm, and were raped or murdered or both before they could buy that gun because of horrendous waiting periods when it comes to buying firearms. So we're very concerned about that. And we asked Martin Gubbels, would you oppose that? And he refused to answer where he stands on this issue. So that's what we know right now about this race. Cheri Steinmetz surveyed 100%. Martin Gubbels did not answer 4 of the most important questions on our survey, frankly. And again, Cheri's been a pro-gun voice and a pro-gun vote in Cheyenne for the last couple of years. That's what you have to know about Senate seat number 3. Guys, if you live there, pass this around. If you have friends out there, pass it around, tag them in the comments. Do what you can do to help us get the facts out there so that gun owners know where these candidates stand. And finally, guys, join up today with WYGO. Help us get the word out to gun owners across the state. Visit WyomingGunOwners.org. Thank you very much, guys. More to come.